Satan would do his best to undermine the family. Because when the family is undermined, then the dominant government can be in total control. When children are separated from their parents, when the government decides to impose its own beliefs, its own philosophy on children without the consent of the parents, then that totally undermines the family. We all know that as the family goes, so does society. So when the family is broken, when the family is undermined, when the family is discarded, society becomes chaotic. And that's where we are today, in a chaotic society, where people are confused about their identity, where lies are spread as truth. The whole notion that a male can become a female and vice versa is the biggest lie that Satan can ever tell. And he is the father of lies. And he promotes these lies through the lawful government, which is tragic. He also promotes his lies through the silence of the members of his church, who have been tasked by Jesus to bring his truth to the world. And the truth is that God created man, male and female. God created families to bring children into the world and to raise them properly. God created society to support families, because without families, society is totally lost. And so today, when Mary told the children that there would be a final conflict, and the conflict would be between Jesus and Satan, Satan attempting to undermine the family. But as Christians, we believe that Satan has been beaten. Satan has been beaten. Jesus has conquered. The crucifix reminds us of that. And so therefore, we must not be afraid, certainly not afraid of the media or afraid of being labeled or anything like that. We need to realize that Jesus has called us to be his instruments, to be the means through which he brings his truth to the world. And it's Jesus' truth that gives us joy and happiness. Lies bring misery, unhappiness, conflict, division, alienation, which is what we see in our country. So Jesus' word has to be restored, and he's depending on you and on me to do that for him. Because we are his mouth, his eyes, his ears, his legs, his hands. He has no others except us.